All right, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for being here. My name is Jacqui Irwin, and I represent the 42nd Assembly District, which encompasses portions of Ventura and Los Angeles County. And today we are here to celebrate because AB 660 is moving again. We introduced this bill about a year and a half ago, and it got stuck in over in the Senate. But we see the finish line and are really hoping to get it done this week. We have all experienced that moment when we look through our refrigerator and trying to figure out whether a bag of salad or a container of yogurt is still safe to consume. You pick it up, look for the date label, hoping to see whether it is expired. But instead of finding clear, consistent phrases that inform you of what the date means, you see big, bold letters, enjoy by. What in the heck does that mean? These date labels, phrases like enjoy by, expires on, sell by, and even at times just a random date with no label at all, offer little insight to consumers on the quality or safety of the food that they are eating. The result of this confusion is significant food waste. One study attributed as much as 20% of all food waste to consumer confusion about these date labels. To address this consumer confusion and reduce food waste, I have been proud to author AB 660. AB 660 requires standardized date label phrases on food items. It uses the industry's own adopted standard, best if used by to indicate the quality of the food or used by to indicate the safety of the food. This standard was established in 2017 by the industry groups Consumer Brands Association and the Food Marketing Institute. It also aligns with recommendations for food labels made by the USDA Food Safety and Inspection Service. Consumer Brands Association also wrote that they expected total adoption of these labels by January 2020, but a simple look through the grocery store shows that we still have a long way to go before we have total adoption. By mandating these standardized terms, we can reduce the need for consumers to throw out food because they don't know whether it is safe or not to eat. Over the last year, my staff and I have worked tirelessly to remove all industry opposition. This week, the bill will face a critical vote on the Senate floor, and I am confident we will be able to move this forward and send it to the governor's desk. Let's put an expiration date on the smell test and consumer confusion with food labeling and pass AB 660. And I have to say, my Senate colleagues, my Senate co-authors were supposed to be here, but they're very busy on the Senate floor. So I am going to welcome Erica Parker from Californians Against Waste.
Hi, everyone. My name's Erica. I'm a policy associate with the environmental group Californians Against Waste. My voice also has an expiration date, and it seems to have passed a little bit, so bear with me. Californians throw away nearly 6 million tons of food waste each year, and consumer confusion over date labels is a leading cause. There are more than 50 differently phrased date labels in the U.S. Each term can be used to communicate different things when used by different brands, while some date labels contain no explanation at all. I'm sure we've all found ourselves confused by these labels. I, too, find myself perplexed sometimes. Recently, I was scratching my own head trying to figure out what PEB meant next to a date from February on a bag of tortillas. The lack of consistent and clear labeling results in consumer confusion and premature waste of wholesome and nutritious food. In fact, as Assemblymember Irwin said, about 20% of avoidable food waste can be attributed to these confusing labels. In case you're wondering, PEB means please enjoy by. Polite, but still unclear. We have been working to end consumer confusion over date labels going back to 2016, when we sponsored AB 954 with then Assemblymember David Chu. AB 660 will ensure that brands use consistent and easy-to-understand phrases to reduce consumer confusion. Additionally, AB 660 will reduce the difficulty that food banks and other food donation programs experience when distributing food to customers that appear to have expired, even if the date on the package is intended to inform stock rotation, but the food is still safe to eat. A major study found that standardizing date labels is also the single most cost-effective way to reduce food waste. The food cycle doesn't end at the trash can, and food waste comes with a significant and environmental social price. This small change will have an outsized impact on reducing food waste and protecting natural resources. We want to thank Assemblymember Irwin for her leadership and persistence on this issue. It's been a long 8 years since we started working on this, and we are very excited to be here today. We hope to see AB 660 on the governor's desk by the end of the week. Thank you. And next we'll hear from Daryl Little from NRDC, a co-sponsor of AB 660.
Good afternoon. My name is Daryl Little Jr., legislative advocate with the Natural Resources Defense Council, or NRDC. We are an international nonprofit environmental organization with more than 3 million members and online activists. NRDC thanks Assemblymember Irwin for her work on this bill and tackling this issue, because most U.S. food waste comes from consumers. In fact, households are the largest food waste generating sector in the United States. That's more food waste than grocery stores, restaurants, or any other part of the supply chain. The majority of Americans unnecessarily throw away food because of a misunderstanding the date printed on food packaging, as has been discussed here today. What that adds up to is a staggering amount of climate pollution, wasted water, and missed opportunities to get food on people's plates. By standardizing food date labels and educating people about what they mean, we can stop unnecessary waste and save a lot of money. When I say a lot of money, the net financial benefit of fixing date labels across the U.S. is an estimated $3.55 billion, mostly to consumers. Nationally, we have a goal to reduce food waste by 50% by 2030. This legislation will help Californians be a part of the solution. We must do our part to mitigate the food and other organic waste in our landfills that counts for 41% of the state's point source methane emissions. We must do our part to mitigate the billions of dollars Americans spend on discarded food. And we must do our part to mitigate food insecurity currently being experienced by 8 million Californians. Thank you very much for being here today and for your support on this important bill. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I really do want to thank our both of our partners, Californians Against Waste and NRDC. As I mentioned, this has been a very long effort. I also want to thank my staff members and all the stakeholders who told us that this year they were going to come together and come up with a solution. So as we mentioned, hoping to get this on the governor's desk by the end of the week. And with that, are there any questions? Of course.
Is it reasonable to assume that small businesses who go to Costco or wherever would benefit from the same lack of confusion and also reduce their food waste, much like you're talking about consumers?
Oh, absolutely. It would be very helpful for small businesses. And in addition, a lot of the small businesses do go to Costco, and they might be buying bulk food, and there's no labels often in that bulk food. So I think this is helpful for everybody. When we were talking about the bill last year, we did go to a grocery store and look at food labels throughout the dairy aisle, and I think we came up with 20 different labels, and obviously that would lead to a great deal of consumer confusion. So we are really looking forward to seeing 2 labels and making sure that everybody knows what that means. So, any other questions?
Yeah, industry groups. Oh, sorry, Tawa Kasberger from Politico.
Oh.
We did have my credential. Okay. I'm wondering if industry groups that I know were opposed to this bill previously. My understanding though is that there's no opposition as it's going to the floor. What led industry groups to drop the opposition?
Some of them needed a little additional flexibility with how much time they needed to comply. There were a few exemptions that early on we allowed, but they did tell us, because they understand that this is a very reasonable bill, and this is just asking them to comply with the standards that they themselves came up with. And so they were very willing to work with us after the bill got stuck last year.
Is there any word from the governor's office on whether or not he would sign the bill?
There is no word from the governor's office, but why wouldn't he? Anybody else? All right, well, I have to get back to the floor then. Thank you again very much for being with us today. All right. That was very easy.